The gang rape in Delhi last December made women's safety a national issue, at least for some time. But a new report by the Delhi Policy Group has comprehensively looked at the gender scorecard of each state and tells you just how scary things really are. So which state tops the list for violence against women and which city in India reports the highest number of rapes?
It's a report that only confirms what we've known all along and paints a very grim picture of the status of women in India as we enter the 67th year of our independence. A think tank called the Delhi Policy Group has come out with what it calls the Gender Scorecard 2013, and the statistics are downright disturbing. It says crime against women has been increasing continuously over the past years. An all-time high of more than 2,44,000 cases of crimes against women were reported in 2012. In 98% of the rape cases that were reported in 2012, the perpetrators were neighbors, friends and relatives. In sharp contrast, the conviction rate of reported rape cases is a dismal 24%. In a state-wise breakup of cases, West Bengal reported the maximum number of crimes against women, Madhya Pradesh registered the highest number of rapes in the past 1 year, UP registered the maximum number of dowry deaths during this period.
It's pretty grim. We find that on the 7 major groups of indicators that we've taken, India fails on 6 out of the 7. And fails quite badly on some of them.
Many say these grim statistics are a reminder, amongst other things, of how the political class has only been paying lip service to the cause of women.
So neither the person who's aiming to become the Prime Minister of this country thought it fit to talk about women in the country, nor our Prime Minister, of course.
Meanwhile, the Chief Minister of Delhi, which reports the highest number of rapes among cities, had only these words to offer.
I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it.
Many believe increased political participation of women can be a very effective tool in tackling a host of women's issues. So how do we fare on that count? Sample this. China, Pakistan and Bangladesh have close to twice as many women MPs as India proportionately. The Women's Reservation Bill has been languishing since 1996, passed in the Rajya Sabha, yet to see the light of day in the Lok Sabha. And the big question is, does it even figure on the priority list of our political class as they gear up for 2014? With Akanksha Kumar in New Delhi, Neha Khanna for NDTV.
So is it just lip service when it comes to the issue of women's safety in particular? We're happy to have in the studio with us the Additional Solicitor General of India, Indira Jaisingh. We have Dr. Radha Kumar, the Director General of the Delhi Policy Group that has done this comprehensive study. Shoma continues to stay with us, and joining us from Kolkata tonight is social activist Nilanjana Chakravarti. Let me ask Ms. Jaisingh first. Looking at the figures on violence in particular, you know, ever since the gang rape took place in Delhi, some of the things we talked about was the fact that most violence takes place by people women know, in the home. But did the statistics surprise you? Because they surprised me. It's 98% of rapes by family or friends. That's very, very high.
That's right. Even in after 16 December, when the police commissioner for the first time said that 92% of all crime, and I think it includes a lot of sexual crime, is by persons known to the victim. I was also extremely surprised by that figure, and I was almost inclined to disbelieve it. It almost sounds like coming across as saying, well, if such a high level of crime is being committed by a person known to you, what can the police do? That seems to be the message coming across from this statistic. So I think that statistic needs to be deconstructed. And we need to find out within this 92% what is it. And to my knowledge, quite a lot of it is to do with married women and the kind of violence that they face in the matrimonial home. So when one is, in my opinion, when one is talking about violence against women, I think you have to really unpack these figures a little more. And try
break them down.
Yes, really. And check, you know, how much of it is, the specificity of these figures needs to be looked into, needs to be analyzed further.
But Radha Kumar, you know, in a country where you had parliamentarians arguing about whether marital rape even exists, I mean, you know, you had moral arguments being given, I remember, by MPs when we were talking about the new laws, that, you know, as far as marital rape doesn't exist, you're going to hurt the institution of marriage. when you come across that mindset, what do you do?
I think there are 2 points. I mean, first of all, rapes. We find that the vast majority are in the age group 14 to 18, as well as 18 to 30, which indicates that familial or known stranger, neighbor, and so on category is one that does not relate solely to married women. It actually relates to nubile, you might say. And I do tend to believe these figures actually, because we see, even qualitatively speaking, newspaper reports, how many rapes are committed by neighbors. Today we have a boy sodomized by a neighbor. So I would say these statistics are reasonably accurate. There's huge underreporting. There's no doubt at all of that. You could multiply by 10, you could probably multiply by 50 to get a more accurate picture.